Hello everyone, I graduated in July 2020 and in that same September I landed my first web dev job. I'm going to share the 4 tips that made me stand out to employers, and it definitely wasn't because I've got a degree. Everyone has them nowadays. If you're new here, I'm Dav. I'm a front-end dev based in the UK. This channel is to share my dev experience and share the mistakes I've made along the way so you can avoid them. Let's jump right into it. Number 1, you actually need to solve a real world problem. I'm sorry to say this, but if you're a complete beginner, they just won't hire you. You need to prove to them that you can build software. If you're in the motions of building the to-do apps, the calculator apps, that's amazing. Good for you, because that's how you learn the fundamentals. These are stepping stones on your journey. They're necessary, but the truth is everyone does them, so you're not going to stand out that way. This isn't to say to avoid doing them. I just know you can do better and the employers want you to do better. Just take a second now and think and consider the real world problems around you and how you can create software to solve them. Like for example, around me, my local gym for some reason still has a manual human checking in process. So pointless. That's such a waste of everyone's time. Just build a QR scanner. That's all you got to do. Just generate a QR, scan it when you come in. Easy. Is a local restaurant still only taking bookings over the phone? Build them a booking system and you'll probably get paid for it as well. Just consider anything. Like Twitter, say no your feed. There's loads of things on the feed that can distract you. Maybe build a Chrome extension to hide everything that's distracting you so it only shows the key feed. Okay, next on the list, we have another necessary evil. Build a personal portfolio. But bonus tip, you must document it thoroughly. I'm going to give some advice now. It might break all the rules for getting a dev job, but if you're short on time, don't code it yourself. Use the card templates. They're completely free just to display your 3 best projects. Just make sure each one has a link to a deployed version of it. Also a link to the GitHub repo. Make sure you document everything in that GitHub repo. If they go on that repo and see a blank README, they will discard you. They will go on to the next person and forget about you. If you're not deploying the site, maybe give a video link to show to the employer how the system works. But if you want to go the extra mile and you do have time, definitely code your personal project site yourself. Newton's third law states that for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. I love this quote because it means the more effort you put into something, the more results you're going to get out. But if you use a free template just to display your projects, that's completely fine. But if you create your own personal thing from scratch, that's brilliant. Chuck in some animations in there, some sliders, go crazy with it, put your personal touch on it, make it yours. Also have a custom domain in your name, like yourname.dev. That's really handy as well. Okay, third tip, you must have a willingness to learn. In software dev, you're constantly learning. You're constantly trying to get better. You're never stagnant. There's new tech coming out every single month. There's new frameworks, there's updates. You've got to keep up with a lot of things. It's great to show that you're willing to learn, but you also need to prove it. Say for example, you were curious of how you could save local storage data on your website instead of the user data expiring on refresh. So you built a system and learned about local storage for your system. Show that to an employer. You went from a point of not knowing something to needing to build something and know everything about that. That is what software dev is. That's a really good skill and you're expected to do that. Also, a little bonus tip, admit that you don't know everything. If you're a beginner and you're in an interview and a technical question comes up and you don't know the answer, I'm telling you now, do not blab an answer. Don't make it up. If they ask you something and you don't know it, literally just say, oh, I haven't quite yet come across this. Is this similar to something else? Or if not, could you give me an example of how you've used it? Something along the lines of that. Never just straight up say, oh, I don't know that. Can we go to the next question? If I was interviewing you, I'd just leave the room. Okay, and the final tip of the video, and probably my favorite, know one thing really well. If you put on your resume, you know Java, you know JavaScript, you know Python, you know Kotlin, you know C, and you know C++, if you're a beginner and you apply for an entry-level job, they will laugh at you. You definitely don't know all those things. Also, you don't need to know all those things. You'll never need to code all of them all at once. It's pointless. When you say, for example, a front-end dev, you'll need to know Node and React and JavaScript. That's a stack and there's loads of other things to go with it, but I don't need to know Python, for example. I don't need to know C++, so it's pointless. So a better approach would be you know the fundamentals of JavaScript, you've built something with that, but you're still interested in learning a framework, so you learn React and you built something with that, and just have it like a little tech stack for yourself. Don't have a broad stack, because then you're a master of none. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I really hope it helps. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions. Cheers.